everyone.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Susie.
And you're listening to the Gilmore Gab. This is episode 9 of the Gilmore Gab. And we are still in Rory's Guys.
Yes, we are.
And we did discuss this yesterday, but we're going to put this in the podcast too because the audience deserves to know.
It's true.
We've been ranking, talking about the guys in order from most hated to most liked. But now we are at a point where we're at Jess and Logan. And they're to a point they're on equal footing.
Yeah.
So now we're going chronological. We're going to discuss Jess first in this particular episode.
And honestly, I upon much reflection, I honestly would put them they're equal.
They're equal,
in my mind.
Yeah.
My heart belongs more to Jess, but truthfully, my opinion aside, I put them on equal footing.
And I do too. And I am definitely a Logan girly in the end. And I think that's why these next 3 episodes, because we're going to do Jess, Logan, and then we're going to compare the two, are going to be really interesting because I think we agree on a lot of the same things.
Yes.
Even to who she should have been with at the end.
Yes.
But I also think
drastically for me on this last viewing.
Yes. Oh, the rewatches when you're a newer age or you've learned more, experienced more life is fascinating. Yeah. For example, every time I take a shower and I think about the podcast, I always have something more to say about Jess or Logan. And so I have this, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pages of notes where I talked to text because I had to just word vomit it out. So but because Jess is your chosen boyfriend.
I love him so much.
I'm going to let you just dive in with your Jess Mariano.
Okay, here's the thing. On this last viewing, I actually had a lot of empathy for Jess because he's a teenager. He gets kicked out of his mom's house, sent to live with his grumpy uncle, who he has not lived by closely before, I don't think. And it just kind of gets told, Luke's going to deal with you now. So, that already is one thing. And then he gets to a town that is so quirky and finicky,
the exact opposite of anything he's ever known, despite living with his mom.
Yes. With his quirky mom.
His mom, who is just wild.
Who fits in perfectly with the town. But
he's a city boy.
It's true. He is a city boy and he's used to a much different way of life than what is in Stars Hollow. And to me, I think that's why he acts out a little bit like he does. It's just because
it's the broken home syndrome. It's the, my dad walked out on me. I'm getting into trouble because my mom's kind of a ditz and isn't present enough for what I need. And now I'm being sent to deal with my uncle who is too much on top of me, which I need, but I hate.
Yes.
And it's the stereotypical bad boy rebellion, which tends to appeal to a lot of girls. I've never understood the bad boy appeal.
Yeah,
I like my men in a suit and tie, but not corporate, just they look good in a suit and tie.
My best friend loves the morally gray characters and the bad guys. She loves them. And I love the heroes and the good guys and the ones that are gonna,
You like the Hallmark hotties.
Of course I do. Oh my gosh. Give me a Hallmark hottie.
Come on, Hallmark, sponsor
Tyler
us.
Hines any day. I'm just saying. Love him. But yeah, so anyways, I think that for me, that's what, in watching it this time, I'm no wonder he's acting out. No wonder he's doing these things because he has no control over his life and other people keep making huge decisions for him without consulting him. And then you have him meeting Rory and he's very intrigued by her, which fair, I guess. Upon further, I'm
we'll talk about that.
Yes.
I have some thoughts.
But and I don't agree that I feel he pushed a little more than he should have with Rory in wanting to spend time with her and trying to.
I'm making a face. Okay.
But also I hate teens, so fair. Go for it, Jess. Go for it. But yeah, anyways, I love Jess because he speaks his mind. He's also well read. When he shows up with her book that he annotated, first of all, I would hate any man that did that to me, but I thought it was cute in that context. Don't steal my books. Don't write in them. I will never speak to you again. Future husband. There you go. You have been warned.
Yes. Says the girl who actively hands out books for annotation, but that's because it's with permission.
I purposely buy those for annotation. And it's fun. Anyways, back to Jess.
Yeah.
Oh, my true love. Here's the thing.
Okay, but real talk, as this a quick aside, you say he's your true love. As a grown adult woman now, would you want a Jess Mariano?
Not as a teenager.
You want Year in the Life, Jess?
Yes. I mean, more like I hate season 7. I don't like it, but I did love what they did with Jess. Like season 7 Jess that like has his life together. He's published a book. He knows what he wants to do. He's actually doing something with his life.
He's in that classic black fitted t-shirt.
Yes.
Or the long sleeve.
And listen,
like a
I met Milo at FanX in Salt Lake a couple years ago. Oh my gosh, he was adorable and I loved him. And he was there for
I highly doubt Jess Mariano would appreciate being called adorable.
I highly doubt it too. But he was there for like they had a bunch of This Is Us people there. And so me and my friends went and got photos with him. And I made a Team Jess sign and he saw it and he was like, yes. And then he posed like Jess.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was amazing and I loved it. And it was like, it was great. He's the only cast member I've met from the show. But yeah, like teenage Jess that starts fights and vandalizes things and all of that.
Classic bad boy teenager.
Yeah, not a fan. Even watching the first time, I was like, I like him more than Dean, but like he's still. I'm frustrated with your life choices, my dude.
See, the first time I ever watched Gilmore Girls, I was like 17, 18. I hated Jess initially because I was very much but it's Rory and Dean. Until later when I was like, ew.
Yeah.
As an adult and having rewatched and having my shower epiphanies, I like Jess. I don't think it was a good relationship and I don't think he was a good boyfriend for Rory. Not because of him, but because of Rory.
Yeah.
To a point because of him, but like I have notes.
In the end, I don't think that she was good enough for him. Like by season 7, because I kind of, the first time I watched it, I kind of wanted them to get back together. And there's like that hit, especially after when she visits him, when she found out that Logan cheated on her with like everybody. And he goes to kiss her. And then she's like, hold on. And he's like, you're still with him? And she's like, I am. And he's like, I don't deserve this. And like now as an adult watching, I'm like, I 100% agree, dude. Like you didn't deserve that.
Well, and that comes to a point at the very end of my notes that with Jess and Rory, the issue there was at no point was it ever an equal relationship as far as maturity wise.
True.
Jess was too mature for Rory.
In the end, yes.
Even though the whole time, because you have to remember that Rory is Stars Hollow's sweet little innocent angel, 16 years old, only ever had one boyfriend.
Yes.
Jess comes walking into the picture, complete opposite of the boy she's dating. But he could annotate her books. Yeah. She read the books, but he actually had like the maturity to understand what was being read. Did we ever see Rory act upon what she was reading or talk about how what she was reading, like even Paris Geller was like, oh, this author, this book, you know?
Yeah.
And Rory was just like, oh, I read it. You should read it. Yeah. So like she and Jess were never on the same level.
You are deepening my love for Jess right now.
Yeah. And to me, it was like, I was thinking about this and I was like, it was almost like he was her babysitter sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, she was a literal child and Jess was definitely more mature, too mature for her. And to the point when she keeps going back to him or he keeps showing up, I realized I was like, Jess always carried a torch for Rory. But every time he checked in on her or connected with her, even to a year in the life, that torch got dimmer and dimmer because he realized every single time that she would never be on his level.
Yeah.
We saw him grow as a character. We saw him become a mature, functioning, independent adult doing well for himself. Rory never did. Let's be completely honest. Even by year in a life, she was jobless. She was pregnant. She was still with a cheater, like cheating.
She was still cheating.
And Rory, I think in Year in Life, I feel like you can see it. And I haven't rewatched Year in Life, but I remember like he walks into that tiny little newspaper office, sees her sitting there and he's like, you can see it on his face. Like, that's what you're doing. And he's like, you should write a book. And she's like, okay. But you can see it in his face. Like, we are never going to be more than what we are right now.
This changes my perspective.
Look at me showing love to Jess Mariano.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so there's the last time we see Jess in that show, he is at their house. It's like right after the wedding or around the wedding. Anyways, he's leaving and he looks in and he sees her. And I always thought it was like a look of like, no, I don't think it was.
It was a look of you and I are just friends. And that's all we will ever be.
And I'm very content with this staying as it is.
Well, and So this is where, and you're gonna, Brandon, my husband was like, be nice when I left today, because he's like, you're talking about a very intense topic today. I was like, we will be nice. This might make you a little mad. I also just don't think that Jess wanted Rory as she was. I think part of the problem with Jess was initially he just wanted to tick off Dean. He had a personal vendetta against Dean. It didn't matter who was dating Dean. He was going to do whatever he could to tick off Dean. And then when he finally got Rory, sometimes he was a great boyfriend and other times he abandoned her. And you were, so that's why I made that face when you were like, and he like showed up for, no, he literally didn't. He shows up whenever he wants. And Lorelai's like, did you really expect her to sit home alone on a Saturday night? Like, you know, so like, I don't think he was a great boyfriend because I think his motives weren't to be her boyfriend. They were to make Dean mad and ruin Dean's life. But he also, like, when he was with her, it was trying to shape her into who he wanted her to be, along the lines of wanting her to be on his level.
Yeah.
Like, why did you drop out of Yale? It was because he had her on this pedestal of like, oh, look at this well-read girl who goes to Chilton, who has all these aspirations. She's going to be amazing. But then she never reached that level. But their entire like relationship, he kept wanting her to be here, up high, and she didn't get there. And he kept trying to push her there.
Yeah.
And, you know, where Dean was essentially controlling her, manipulating her, she didn't think for herself. Jess was trying to challenge her, and he was great about like challenging her, but he didn't challenge her to independently think. He just tried to challenge her to think differently.
Yeah.
But it was still molding to what he was wanting her to be. And that's where my main issue with Jess came from, was just that neither he nor Dean looked at Rory as she was and was like, okay with that.
Yeah.
And you can argue that Jess was trying to make her a better person, but it wasn't in line with who she was.
Yeah.
So that ultimately, after all these years, my main issue with him is the simple fact that he was similar to Dean in that he kind of tried to manipulate the situation to get her. And his focus was never truly on her unless it was her being a certain way.
Which, because we're going to have to talk about this at some point anyways, the party where they go upstairs. And he's like,
That's the one moment.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I did not like Jess in that moment either. But with this context, I very much can see that of him. Like, I can see his train of thought going that direction.
Also, I have to wonder, like, thinking about that scene, it's one of those moments where I was like, writers, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to paint Jess as a bad boy, but now you've painted Jess as someone who's going to assault someone.
Right.
But that's the complete opposite of who he was when he crashed your car.
That's the complete opposite of who he is. I feel like
overall,
90% of the time. Yeah.
And so that like, it bugged me every time I've watched it. But now with that perspective, like with this most recent rewatch, I was like, why did the writers do that? And the most I can think is to instigate a Dean fight.
Yeah.
Because ultimately a lot of what Jess was doing was to just get back at Dean. But again, it's a maturity thing too. He just thinks he's trying to make Rory be on his level.
Yeah. But I still think they should have done something else.
It just felt really out of character.
Also, it doesn't help that, like, I feel like those type of situations, at the time, we knew that they happened, but I feel like now there's so much more awareness to it.
Yeah.
And it's such a huger topic than it was when that show came out that, like, especially now, I'm like, why couldn't you have picked literally anything else? Because now that is like screaming red flags.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not true to who Jess generally is in the show.
Yeah. I agree.
And like, even when it was happening, I was like, what is he doing? Like, especially because like in the beginning when they first meet, he's always like, I'm cool to wait, like whatever, like I'll take my time.
But then at the same time, there was that one girl he was dating, which again was just to instigate drama between Dean and Rory. And again, I don't ever think the goal was to get Rory initially. I think it was just to tick off Dean. Like, he really just didn't like Dean.
I don't like
honestly,
Dean either.
Fair. But also Dean is such a poser with the leather jacket and the Chicago boy. And Jess is like, I'm from Philly. Square up. Like,
okay, but it's funny because like Jess is everything that Dean proclaimed to be in the beginning. Jess is that guy.
And Dean instantly hated him. But and part of it is because he looked at Rory as a possession, and nobody was allowed to look at Rory in any way other than like, oh, look at that cute little girl with her sweet boyfriend. And Jess looked at her as an individual and also a relatively attractive young lady, which I really want to talk about. But I'll let you no.
You can talk about it.
This is the thought that plagued me. Okay. other than like the pilot episode where the older guys are hitting on Rory and then they come over and she's like, she's 16. And he's like, oh. So they have established that Rory is a conventionally pretty, attractive young girl who looks mature enough that guys who are over 18 are hitting on her, right?
Yeah.
And yet, Rory never has a boyfriend until a boy from out of town comes.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, oh, look, this out of town, not Stars Hollow boy. She doesn't date anyone at Chilton. The only one who shows any interest in her at Chilton is Tristan, and he's a prat. And then it's nothing. Nobody else draws her eye. She's lived there her whole life, gone to that high school. Nobody else draws her eye until Jess from out of town, not a Stars Hollow boy, not a Chilton boy. And I had to ask myself, because I was like, and then think about Lane, except for the one guy whose hair she runs her hands through because she has a crush on him. She also a Chilton boy at a Chilton party, Henry.
Yes.
And then Dave Rogowski, who doesn't live in their town and is older. What is with the shortage of eligible, attractive young boys in Stars Hollow?
Okay, but like, who has kids in Stars Hollow? We don't see who is attending this high school.
Apparently, quite a few. They had a whole marching band.
Because like you have Lindsay and you have Dean and you have Lane and you have Rory.
Lindsay.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Lindsay. Sorry, I was reading my notes.
Like beyond those 4 people, we don't ever actually meet any students.
No, and then
the
one friend of Dean's that they double date with Lane, and he's a stoner and totally out of it.
Yeah,
but like, I'm sorry, why do these young girls have to go out of or pick the out of town boys?
Yeah,
like you're telling me Rory knows in a book, Harvard bound Rory has had no interest in a boy until she's leaving her school, Stars Hollow High, and runs into out of town a mysterious Chicago man, Dean. And then nobody turns her eye. Not Tristan, not any of the plenty of boys that Madison and Louise, thank you, I always forget her name, are making out with in the halls of Chilton. None of those boys ever appeal to Miss Bookish, my Dean Rory. Blech.
Yeah.
Until Jess comes into town.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing that plagued me the whole time. And that is why
very odd.
So my point here about like Jess was not a good boyfriend and it wasn't entirely Jess's fault is I don't think Rory's initial attraction to him or attraction overall had anything to do with actually being genuinely attracted to Jess and had everything to do with him not being a Stars Hollow boy. Because after a while, Dean became a Stars Hollow boy.
And that's when she got
into that's when she got into Jess. So I think the problem here, it all comes back to Rory being the problem. But yeah, so that's why, like I said, he wasn't a great boyfriend. In part, it wasn't his fault. It was Rory only wanted him because he was not Stars Hollow boy.
So really, this makes it okay. It doesn't make it okay, but
I mean, we saw all those kids at that party too, which is still wild.
I don't know who those children are or where they belong because we don't know. We don't ever see their parents. We only see the same like 10 people ever.
And there's so many children. Miss Patty's dance school and the like Thanksgiving thing. And they must be people who live outside of Stars Hollow and they have to choose between Stars Hollow High and Woodbridge High. It's one of those little like in between sort of suburbs. So it's got to be like people that live in the outskirts of these towns where it's like farming communities or just countryside communities. And those are the closest high schools. Yeah. That's what it's got to be.
Maybe they don't live in like downtown Stars Hollow. Like, because I'm assuming that Rory and Lorelai live just off of the main street.
And the inn is off Sores and Boils.
Yes.
No. Yeah, but also it could be like that one TikToker who comes around as like a perspective of a citizen of Stars Hollow. Yes. But it's like, nobody cares about us. There goes those Gilmore Girls again.
Oh no, Rory's here. We're not going to see food for an hour. Yeah, but okay. But like going back to like the whole Jess's motive and Rory's motive, and not that it makes it okay, but at least it eases my mind about how their relationship completely implodes.
Because they were never in it because they wanted each other.
And I think because like I love the scene where she's gotten into Yale and he's already mapped out how far away it is. It's like 23 miles or whatever.
Which is such a sweet moment. Again, completely contradictory to what happened at the party.
Yeah. And I feel like we get more of those Jess moments than the party moments. And I think he genuinely liked her. I don't think in the beginning, especially when
same with her. I think
I think that like they were on their way to like becoming something. I don't think it would have lasted.
No.
And I don't think that they would have been good together long term. which first viewing Soozee would die to hear that, truthfully. But
when you consider like the maturity discrepancies and just the fact that he was constantly disappointed by her.
Yeah.
And she didn't care enough to want to do better. Like I think Jess grew to like her genuinely. I don't think Rory ever liked him enough to want to be a better person.
I don't think she did either. And we see that continuously because every time he shows up,
oh, you're with Dean again? The pure disappointment on his face. He wasn't mad at her. He was mad at himself, I think.
Yeah.
And then you dropped out of Yale. What is it? That's one of those moments where it's like, I could tell he wanted to grab her and shake her and go, what is wrong with you? Can't you tell I love you and I want you to be better? Why are you doing this to me?
Also, Milo Ventimiglia's performance in that scene solidified him in my heart forever, because like his whole, like, you can feel it. Why did you drop out of Yale?
But see, now for me, your version of why did you drop out of Yale will forever be cemented in my mind. So whenever I see the meme, it's from our first episode snippet of you going, why did you drop out of Yale? So it's just his face, your voice.
Which is disappointing because he has a lovely voice. Anyways, in the end, what it comes down to is I love Jess, but I don't love Jess for Rory. I just love Jess as myself, as Soozee Carmichael.
Yeah.
Loving the character of Jess.
Yeah, I think what really kind of irked me about Jess was the way he went about things.
Yeah.
Especially because like he drags that poor girl to the dance-a-thon and sucks face with her just to take off Dean.
Yeah.
And like, I don't even think it was to make Rory jealous, but she got jealous.
Yeah.
But then when he has Rory, he goes back and forth between like, yeah, I'm all about this to I'm busy, whatever. And like doesn't call her for days.
He is also at the same time working and not going to school. Which is
the other thing where it was like he was trying to push Rory to be a better person, but then Rory had the audacity to be like, you're ruining the whole Rory's obsession with everybody going to college and finishing school irritates me because some people do just fine not finishing high school. Not that I'm encouraging people not to finish high school, but I mean, in an age where homeschool is becoming more prevalent, and as a homeschooling former public school teacher myself, like school is not everything. And plenty of people don't go to college at all and are incredibly successful, you know? And it's just like, she irked me the way that, because in the way that Jess was trying to make her be a better version of herself, she was trying to change Jess into her ideal Dean, but not Dean.
Yeah, agreed.
Probably part of why she stopped being interested in Dean too, was because not only did he become a Stars Hollow boy, but he was like, you know, maybe not going down the path that she thought he was going to go down.
Yeah. It's true. Well, especially like, because like her and Dean have a whole conversation about college too, because he was thinking of going to a junior college because he can't afford Yale.
And then he married Lindsay and decided not to go to college because they want to buy a townhouse.
Well, and here's the thing. I fully support people that want to go into trades.
Yes.
Like we need those skills. And so like part of it's because I went the university that I went from being a state college to university while I was there, but it started as a trade school. And I had a professor, I was in an English class. It was a theory class. So we're talking really abstract ideas about English. And across the hall from us was the auto shop. And she was like, part of why I took the job at this university was because you have our English class here where we're talking about these very abstract English ideas. And literally across the hall, you have people learning how to fix cars.
Yeah.
And she's like, I appreciate and love the need for both skills.
As the wife of an automotive technician, because he is degreed as an automotive technician, he went to a big fancy school. Well, not a big, but a fancy school. And he's about to go on a trip as a senior master certified Ford technician. The amount of time he has put into that, and it wasn't just physical time in the shop fixing vehicles, but he's had to do hours of training. He's had to travel out of state for in-person training to achieve that skill. Like now he gets to go to California and be wined and dined and for a week because they're celebrating that achievement. Like, and there's not a lot of people in his current, the dealership he currently works at. He's like one of maybe 3 techs that are Ford specific certified that have specific training to do dang good on your Ford car. Like that's not a skill people do anymore. And it's, you know, And a lot of people will argue like, oh, I can just learn it from YouTube. Who do you think you're learning it from?
Yeah.
Skilled tradesmen.
Yeah.
I mean, this is why I love that Ren fairs are still such a big thing, because you get to see like people smithing and woodworking and glass blowing and these skills that are dying.
Yeah.
And they need to not.
Yeah.
Because I know like the year I graduated high school, a year later, I would run into a lot of people and everybody went to college for a psychology degree.
Oh gosh.
So so this is like 2008, 2009. Everybody's in college for a psychology degree. And granted, mental health is a big deal.
Yeah.
And we need more support for that. But how many psychologists do we need?
Well, and also that, like, because you can't do anything with a bachelor's in psychology. Well, I mean, you can. I have a friend that has one, but her current job has nothing to do with psychology. And if you want to be like a therapist, you have to have at least a master's, preferably a PhD, which takes a lot of time.
It does.
And kind of coming back to like the show, I feel like they missed an opportunity both with Dean and with Jess.
Yes.
Because Dean graduates high school, but then he starts doing construction, which is a trade that we need, because we need people that can build things.
Well, and he was very skilled at it. And the fact that Rory like had a hissy fit, like, you're not going to college? Ma'am, he is helping your mother build her in from the ground up. Shut your mouth.
Right? Also, so like I have a brother that that didn't go to college, but he started doing construction when he was a teenager. And like now he is like one of like the top people in the company, and it's all because of like the skills that he acquired and like mastered. And like I remember a few years ago when one of his daughters was little, whenever he'd get frustrated, he would just go out and start building things. And he built her like a 2-story playhouse with electricity, like running water and electricity and like everything, because he was just frustrated. And that's how he like got like let out his frustration. And you know, like I wish that they wouldn't have like looked down on Dean for, even though I don't like Dean, but but still, like I feel like as a society, we too often look down on people that acquire those skills. How else is your house going to get built? Who is going to come and do your plumbing?
Right.
If you don't have plumbers that know the skills.
Well, and I think the biggest issue too, and you see this with Rory, is Rory equates success with being smart, and she equates being smart with going to school, with going to Ivy Leagues. But the reality is people can be ridiculously smart and not go to school.
Yeah.
That was the problem with Rory, which is wild because Jess was smart.
Yeah.
So where did they drop the ball with Jess? You were starting to talk about that with Dean. So
we have Dean, and then with Jess, like they like when he realizes that he's not going to graduate because he's missed too many classes, and he's like, well, I'll just go get my GED. And Luke's like, that's not good enough. And I'm like, my dude, it is good enough.
Yeah.
Like he's working 40 hours a week already. He's like, he's got the drive. Like, let him just go get his GED and let him move on with his life. Like,
yeah. Well, and I think the problem there is that Luke, under different circumstances in a different town, probably wouldn't have reacted that way.
Agreed.
Because Luke is a businessman. I don't know that he went to college. But he grew up in his dad's hardware store. Like Luke has renovated Lorelai's house.
And we also know that Luke is very good with money.
Yes, and he's a good businessman. He owns his own business. He has lots of money because he's very financially literate, which many of us are not.
Yeah.
Myself included. I think the problem is he spent so much time around Rory, that idealized version of look how smart she is. She's going to Harvard. So when Jess comes in and then Rory starts tutoring him, his brain just goes, Rory and Jess equals Jess goes to Harvard.
Yeah.
Essentially, you know? Yeah. And then, because then they mess it all up by bringing April into the picture, and she's also super smart.
Yeah.
I think they dropped the ball in surrounding Luke with too many book smart people, that he just put that expectation on everyone.
Yes. Because, I mean, I got so frustrated when Luke was like so hardcore, if you don't graduate, you can't stay here, to the point that Jess just leaves. And like, I don't blame Jess for just leaving. I wish he would have said goodbye.
Yeah.
But also, in some ways, I can't believe I'm saying this. I am full of my own revelations today. In some ways, I'm kind of glad that he didn't say goodbye to Rory, because that closed the door.
Yes.
And I think it needed to close. Oh my gosh.
Well, and then it led to
5 years
Jess,
ago, Susie's freaking out. It's fine.
And it led to Jess going and finding his dad and realizing his dad was like doing the Luke thing, had his own business. And Jess was like,
but not as well as Luke.
Not as well as Luke, which gave him that realization of like, Luke had a point. Now, I also disagree with Luke kicking Jess out because it's like, it's counterintuitive. It's like, if you don't graduate high school, you can't live here. Okay, so now he's going to leave and still not graduate high school.
Yeah.
Like, you're not achieving your goal with that.
And you have now, like, put a huge damper on your relationship with him. Because now he doesn't think he can come to you when he's in trouble.
But also, like, I don't understand. And granted, I think in the time, this was the parenting mindset. You know, because it was parents saying, if you go to college, you can live here and you don't have to pay rent. We'll help support you. But if you don't go to college and you still want to live here, you're paying rent and da-da-da-da. And it's like this idea, because we were raised with this idea that if you go to college, you will be successful, you will have a job. And now look at us all. Like, but I get that it was like kind of the time period for Luke to say something like that.
Yeah.
But it's just so counterintuitive to be like, if you don't graduate high school, you can't live here. Like, okay, but what does that mean? You know?
And I understand because Luke, because like when like he and Jess had already had, you know, and to the like there was a reason that he came up with the rule of like, if you're going to stay here, you have to go to school. But at the same time, like Jess had been trying and he had been doing the best he could. And like, I think that I wish that Luke had been so focused on that, which as we've just now discussed.
Yes.
Why he did focus so hard on that. But like,
and I think it's just, Luke was out of his depth.
Yeah.
And I think that plays into when we talk about this later, like how hard he went for the whole April thing is because he felt like he failed Jess.
I think he even tells Jess that later on.
But I will say, I do think as much as it wasn't a great choice, I think it was important for Jess's development because then he does, like you said, he goes and sees his dad. His dad is not as successful as Luke. And I think that makes Jess kind of go, Luke was trying to show me something. Did he go about it the right way? No. But nobody's a perfect parent. But I think seeing that, and you see that growth in Jess when Luke shows up later at his like bookstore or whatever, and Jess gives him the check, and it's like, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. Yeah. And I love that growth for Jess. And then that's the part where I'm like, I don't like Jess for Rory, but it's mostly Rory's fault because I see that Jess matured. Yeah. Like Jess became the kind of guy that I would want to date at that time. Not teenage Jess, wanted nothing to do with teenage Jess, but like 20s Jess. That like that maturity, that sense of like, I can take care of myself and I am responsible and I have goals that I'm trying to achieve. Huge selling point. Yeah.
Well, and a point that I thought about earlier, but we were talking about something else, so I didn't want to come back to it, is that like, honestly, Jess has had to take care of other people most of his life because his mom has been a complete basket case. Yeah. And, you know, I think living with Luke is the first time he hasn't had to be the responsible one in the household. And Luke is very much the opposite of his sister, where he is very responsible to the point that it's suffocating for Jess because he's been used to being the responsible one that has to take care of things. And now suddenly he's not. And he has someone else that's being responsible for him.
Well, and he's used to nobody needing to know where he is. Nobody constantly checking on him. And now here's Luke literally suffocating him with parental love and care. And he's like, I don't know what this is.
And I don't like it.
And I don't think he realized at the time that was love and care. That was, I love you enough to want to keep you safe, to help you make good choices. I love you enough to make you hate me. Yeah. But I would rather you hate me than end up on the street dead. You know, even when Luke shows up at his crappy little apartment and he's like, this is where you live now. And like, but Luke kind of let him deal with it. He was just like, you need to take care of this. I am here because of this. It is your mother getting married. You will be there. I don't care about your crappy apartment. You're coming to Stars Hollow to be there for your mom.
And I think also, like, I think Jess, as he matures, because by season 7, you know, when he gives him the check and he's like, it's what's owed, and Luke's like, you don't owe me anything. He's like, yes, I do. It's what's owed. Like, you're going to take this check. And he even says, if you rip it up, I'll just send another.
Well, and if you think about it, would Jess have had the level of maturity that he achieved if he had never come to Stars Hollow?
No.
He would have ended up slumming it somewhere, I feel like, in Philly. Yeah. Or he would have been on the boardwalk with his dad. Yeah. Doing pickles and hot dogs or whatever his dad did.
The authentic hot dog stand or whatever
it is.
Yeah. I think it was good for Jess to see his dad.
Yeah.
And like, even though his dad came into the diner,
I love the way Luke handles that. The minute he's like, what are you doing here? Get out of here. You will not ruin that boy's life.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But I like that Jess went and found his dad because I think he needed to see his dad because I don't think he'd met his dad at that point because his dad left like to go get diapers and then never came back. And I think it was good for Jess to see his dad and be like, oh, and kind of just realize, for me, I am hoping that he realized in that moment, but regardless, he got there in the end. The like Luke was trying to save me from this.
Well, yeah, because if you think about it too, Jess's dad, Jess not only saw like a not great businessman in his dad, he saw his dad with a partner and another child.
Yeah.
That he seemed, and I think that also turned Jess away from his dad. Like, you took off on me, and now here you are being committed to another woman, not my mom.
That's not your kid.
And her kid, who's like 8.
Yeah.
And you know these things about her, and you know, like her little hidey holes, and you talk about how great they are. I think you can see it in Jess's face too, like, oh, so that's, you know, and he just doesn't get a warm reception, which means the fact, and that made me mad.
Yeah.
Other than it's also April Nardini's mom later. Yeah. But the fact that like Jess shows up, tracks him down, but shows up at the house and she's like, who are you? And then she gets mad at Jess's dad, like, oh, I didn't know you were going to go look for your kid that I didn't really know about. Like, so if I were Jess, I'd be mad seeing the dad who walked out on me with another person and her kid and being present.
Yeah.
And I'd also be mad that you never told anyone about me.
Yeah.
So not only did you abandon me, you want to pretend like I don't exist.
You ignored my very existence.
Meanwhile, Luke went out of his way to track him down. Luke went out of his way to spy on him and make sure he was going to school and showed up to his employee of the month at Walmart. And, you know, and Jess isn't used to being praised and getting accolades like that and then having people be proud of him.
Yeah.
And I think Luke wanting Jess to graduate from high school was also I want to be proud of you and I want you to see that I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And I can do that at a graduation ceremony.
Yeah.
You know, because he shows up for Rory's graduation. Like, so,
but her own father doesn't.
So I have to wonder if that was part of Luke's motivation. If you need to graduate high school, it was like, I want you to see that people are proud of you for what you can accomplish. And I want you to see you can accomplish things so that people will be there for you.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Luke very much, with how he reacted to Jess's dad, very much was like, Jess deserves to have someone show up for him.
Yeah. Which he does.
Yeah. So.
And in the end, you know, people do show up for him.
No.
And we even see this, Jess showing up for other people in like A Year in the Life when when Luke when Luke gives out the Wi-Fi password and then like it's silent and nobody leaves and Jess comes in because they're gonna save his mom and
from the vegetable cult.
Yep. Who don't want them. Anyways, I love it when he walks in because he knows immediately what happened when he walks in and he like just goes and unplugs the modem so that no one has Wi-Fi and then they all like leave and then he's like, Luke, what's going on? And like he has to like sit Luke down and have a conversation with him like, what's going on? You're not okay.
Yeah.
Like, and he's the one that's there for Luke in that moment. And I love at that point because like there's no bitterness between them. There's just love. And I loved seeing Jess in The Year in Life. The rest of it can burn.
Oh yeah.
It's trash. But Jess, I love that they continued what they had started with season 7.
And it's a good full circle moment for him and Luke. It was good. I think, and past me would be cringing at all of the things I'm saying in favor of Jess. But it was really nice to see Jess kind of come out on top and good in the end.
Yeah.
Thriving. Thriving. So good to see him have grown from that because I think of all of the relationships and people in that show, Jess's development as a person was the most realistic. I don't think we see often enough a realistic depiction of people kind of coming from being a bad boy delinquent, if you will, to maturing and thriving and just doing okay. Yeah. I don't, because it doesn't sell in the media. So I think they did good with him in that aspect. With that in mind, I think we should share our most favorite Jess Mariano moments.
Okay. I have to think about this for a second.
Okay, well, it's so tiny, but my most favorite is like, because we've talked a lot about how like Jess was just really trying to tick off Dean and wasn't really, I don't know that he really cared about Rory initially. He just wanted to break them up because why not? But my favorite Jess moment is when Lorelai and Rory have to take care of the plants for that weird neighbor. And she's trying to get the sprinkler to turn off and it won't. And she had called Dean for help, but then Jess comes by and he turns it off for her and she says thank you and they're chatting for a minute and then she gets the like pager or whatever and she's like, I had called Dean for help, and Jess just picks it up, turns the sprinkler back on and walks away. And it's like, that was a lot of maturity there.
Yeah.
Because he could have been like, I'll stick around and fight Dean or like make him deal with it or just tell him but Jess was like, okay, I'll let your boy save the day. But remember, I saved the day first.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet because of all the things Jess had done up until that point, he didn't have to behave that way.
Yeah.
Which is, again, what makes that party scene so out of character.
Yeah.
Because that is my least favorite Jess moment is that scene at the party.
Mine too.
But
mine too.
That's my favorite Jess moment.
Okay. My favorite, I have too many, so I'm just going to go with the one that keeps sticking out in my head. And it's where it's after the car accident before he's with Rory. And Luke comes and finds him and he is distraught.
Yes.
And he says, I made sure she was okay before I left.
Yeah.
And
Luke just says, I know.
And I love that.
Makes me cry just thinking about it. That is a really good one.
I love that one because it shows the maturity of Jess. And also it shows his relationship with Luke. That Luke knew and he just wanted to make sure Jess was okay. And
And I think, too, in that moment, it was a really good point for Luke because it showed that Luke was not always going to take Lorelai's side.
Yeah.
Like, he did have to send Jess away for Jess's own safety, honestly, because I think Lorelai would have killed him. But in that moment, you saw Luke did not believe what Lorelai had to say, and he was not going to take Lorelai's side.
Yeah.
Because despite how much of a, quote, delinquent Jess behaved, Luke knew that Jess was never going to let something like that happen.
Yeah.
And it goes back to how mad I was with Lorelai in that moment of how she did not care what Rory said. She had decided that Jess was a delinquent. And so he clearly tried to crash Rory's car and kill her. And it's like, no, they swerved for an animal.
Yeah.
It was an accident. And Jess did make sure she was okay. And even Rory was like, he made sure it was okay. He waited till the ambulance showed up and then he left because he didn't want to, because
he knew what the town would do to him.
Yeah. And so Luke protects him and also makes it very clear. Lorelai will not come before his family in that moment. Yeah. Especially when he knows Lorelai's being an irrational psychopath. I love Lorelai, but girl. I mean, now granted, as a parent, if I end up getting a call saying my daughter is in the hospital because she broke a bone, I'm going to be a little freaked out.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little upset. But in no offense to my husband, but in our relationship, I am the more level-headed one when it comes to our kid. And so I know I'd be spending half my time being like, what happened? And the other half being like, will you sit down and stop trying to kill everybody in sight, please, husband? But I would like to think that if she said it was an accident, there was an animal in the road, we swerved. I would like to think that I would say, okay.
Yeah.
And it would be like, he shouldn't have been driving your car because that's your car and that's your responsibility.
Also for insurance purposes.
That too.
Insurance doesn't exist in TV shows.
But it was an accident. There's a police report that shows it was an accident. But we also, I mean, we've grown up very differently than my kid is growing up now.
Yeah.
It's very different parenting styles. And so nothing Rory said mattered. Nothing Luke or Jess would say would matter.
Yeah.
They had in their mind that they were the problem. And so I didn't like Lorelai for that moment, but
yeah, I love that. And Luke honestly was always trying to do his best for Jess.
He was.
The whole show, he's just trying to do what he thinks is best for Jess. Sometimes it isn't actually what's best for Jess, but in the end, he is there for Jess always.
Yeah.
Well, most of the time. 80%.
I mean, look, we can only do so much.
He's there when he needs him, when he truly needs him. Because when they have their falling out and Jess just leaves, I mean, at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, he's almost 18.
He's 18, it is what it is.
Yeah. And also I think that he needed to go out and do his own thing.
Yeah, he needed to have that discovery moment.
I think that's what brings him back to, who he is meant to be and who he becomes.
Yeah. I think some of my other favorite Jess related moments is when Rory goes to New York. I hate that moment because she misses her mom's graduation,
which her mom only did for her.
Yes, but I you can kind of see where Jess is kind of like, oh, look at her doing things that are out of the norm for her, and you can see a little spark of hope that she then kills because Rory sucks. But But my absolute favorite related to Jess moment is when they devil egg his car.
Yes.
And then Luke goes, Jess is like, someone egged my car. And then Luke goes, someone deviled egged somebody hates you enough to prepare eggs to throw at your car. And the irony of it was that they didn't prepare them. They were sent home with them. And then they were just saw an opportunity. But I love that enough that I want it on a t-shirt.
Yes.
Someone hates you enough to prepare eggs to throw your car. They devil egged your car.
Yeah.
So like a Jess related moment, that is probably my favorite.
Oh, that was so great. And also when he comes and picks up his car later and he goes to Rory and she's like, no, I get to run this way. I run away this time. And they he keeps chasing her.
Yes, I love that so much. And I, like in our snippet that we shared from episode 1 about the runaway counter for Rory, I had to find a clip of that to put in our snippet on social media. Go to our Instagram, you can see it, where it's to the sound, there she goes again. And it's just her zigzagging through the the winter fair or whatever. Yeah. And it's ridiculous because it's like he wasn't trying to run away from her. He just was like, I cannot get into this with you because I don't need drama with Luke. I don't need drama with your mom. Like, I don't need drama with you.
Yeah.
Whereas she was like, no, I'm just going to run away. Like, girl was so immature that she couldn't understand why he was walking away from her every time. Yeah. And so then it became, and again, he was like a babysitter. No, I'm going to run away this time. Like, very childish. My 6-year-old says stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Rory was always the problem.
Yeah. I love that we can agree that we love Jess.
Wait, I have grown. Jess has grown on me. But again, I agree. Like, later Jess, far superior to early Jess.
Yeah. Let's be real, though. If we both hadn't just rewatched the show, this episode would have gone very differently.
100%.
And also the Logan episode would go very differently.
I think I still have that text message too. Yeah, no, I agree. It would go very differently if this was, 5-10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, like I said, when my husband was like, be nice, I'm like, no, I think Susie and I are on the same page as far as Luke and Logan and Jess. So,
and also it's good that we love each of them more than the other.
Yeah, more than
different. Yeah.
I am honestly so excited for all the hate comments we're going to get from the Dean lovers. Because
I can't believe it exists.
Because here's the reality. You've made it when you start getting hate comments.
Yes.
So, if you haven't, go back to episode 7 and listen to us rag on Dean for a whole hour almost.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But speaking of that, really quick, I saw a TikTok that was the summer.
Oh, yes.
I think I sent it to you.
I have seen it many times and it's hilarious.
But I love that it's like, if your team such as that, because I don't watch that show. But it's like, if your team such and such, and if your team such and such, you're basically team Dean also.
Yes.
Like, okay, so I know who to hate.
Yes. Yeah, I don't watch the show either. And I was like, oh, well, good to know. Good to know. The other TikTok or Instagram you sent me, I've seen for a few years now, where somebody took an edit and they edited all of the conversations to make it look like Jess and Dean are lovers. And it is both a horror movie and hilarious. Like, it's cringy, creepy, like, ew. And not because they're two men, but it's Jess and Dean, and it's just weird. Yeah. But it's like, it was like enemies to lovers horror movie vibes, and it's hilarious.
It is. Oh my gosh.
We should I think it's on Instagram. I'll repost it to our Gilmore Gab podcast page so people can see it.
Oh my gosh, so funny.
A beautiful edit, though. Well done. Like, I'm coming over. Is that okay? Yeah. Like, it's just, it was well done. I love it.
It was whoever made it, props, because that was masterfully done. Yes. And I cackled for 5 minutes.
Every time I see it, part of it, like, sometimes I'll sit and I'll watch it, and other times I'm like, oh, this just cringy so bad. I cannot sit here and watch it. But it's also like a horror movie. Yeah. Let's see.
Okay, but also the edit of the pilot as a horror movie with Dean is also classic.
Yeah, but also fitting.
Yes.
Let's see. You shared it from Icon is to edit. Well, I think we have talked a lot about Jess.
Yeah.
I think it's time for a little break. And then we'll dive into our next episode about Logan Huntsberger.
Yes.
And actually, I've had more revelations as we've talked about Jess. So for those who don't understand, normally we just do one episode at a time when we get together. But today we were like, no, we have to do all 3 of these episodes. Otherwise, we will forget what we need to talk about for these boys.
So you're gonna marathon with us.
I mean, in real
slowly.
time, you will only get the episodes when we normally put them out. But for us, it's happening all in one day.
Yeah.
So
by the end, in 6 weeks when you finish this, you will be as exhausted as we are when we finish recording this today.
Truth be told, we're only exhausted because we played D&D last night till like midnight.
It's true, but man, it was worth it.
Oh, so good. Anytime we get Soozee laughing so hard, she has tears streaming down her face. It's a good time.
And I can't breathe. Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, that's it for the Gilmore Gab. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later. Bye.
The Gilmore Gab is created and produced by Rachel Llewellyn and Susie Carmichael. Music by Kevin MacLeod. Follow us on Instagram at Gilmore Gab Podcast and sign up for our newsletter on Substack. You can also subscribe to our paid Substack for early access to new episodes and exclusive content. The Gilmore Girls show and characters are the exclusive property of Warner Brothers Entertainment. Warner Brothers Entertainment is not affiliated with, nor does it endorse the Gilmore Gab Podcast.